Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. Let's talk about be it till you see it, not fake it till you make it. Because as you know, and God bless Mary Kay Ash, right? I mean, she rose from the ashes, really. She has stuff. She had all kinds of stuff. She did not come from a place of privilege. And she created this empire. People were driving around in pink cars, for heaven's sakes, because they had gone far in her little makeup world. But she was dead wrong about this. And maybe this is part of our evolutionary process of how we deal with our stuff, our junk, our things. I don't know. But I just want to talk about this because I think this is super critically important to all of us who struggle with the okayness of being authentically who we are, right? Authentically who we are. So hold on, you might need to buckle yourself in on this one. It might be a little bit bumpy. Kleenex is on my desk, just saying. Hey, Debbie. So I think that faking it is a nice way of saying lie, put on a mask, pretend, and be disingenuous. That's what I believe. I think it and because of this, it is a flat out killer for mental health. Now, I just finished watching Ted Lasso. Have you watched this, by the way? Anybody watch Ted Lasso? What an adorable show. I mean, such a good show. And it was nice to see strong women characters who were friends without putting each other down, like kitty cat fight thing, that stereotypical stuff. It was also fun the way they poked fun at masculine toxicity with, how the macho thing and how they broke that down. I was really impressed with the whole premise of this. And the way that we got through season 2 and we're waiting for season 3, breathlessly. But the way season 2 ended was just finally the coach coming clean on his mental health and how he had anxiety attacks. And I think for the longest time, we don't talk about mental health. We talk about it in hushed tones. The way they used to talk about cancer, now there's cancer ads on TV and on the sides of buses and cancer hospitals and drug treatments on television with commercials and the whole bit. But not anymore. But mental health, not so much. Not so much. Maybe a little bit, but not as much as should be or could be. And what I know is that fakery builds nothing but a pretend world. It pretend and it's smoke and mirrors and it's versions of what you aren't. Versions of what you could maybe be, but aren't. So I really want to bring this whole thing in because this is critical stuff here. What it is it ends up being that, it's a play, it's a movie set. It's not an actual town. That's how faking it till you make it is. You're just being a pretend person, a character, if you will, and not yourself. And that's it. You're acting the part of maybe somebody you want to be or somebody you would like to be, but not actually being the true, authentic you. And this is the thing that always brings us in to this place of understanding that not being the true, authentic person that we are is always going to leave its disingenuous mark on our heart, on our mind, on our body, and on our soul. I think a lot of us have taken the trauma of maybe our childhoods or whatever, and we've ingested it. It's left its mark on us. It's It's part of who we are, unfortunately, because I haven't dealt with it. But mental health is something that really needs to be talked about. It does. And I talk about all kinds of stuff. I talk about um, changing your thoughts, changing your mind is going to change your life. I believe that what we think about, we do bring about simply because that's what our focus is. What our focus is expands, and what we dwell upon becomes our destiny. I believe that with all of my heart because that's how the brain operates. However, I'm a firm believer, as you know, of grit is way better than quit. You know that. But I'm also, as much as I am a staunch believer in taking risks and being creative and solution oriented and making sure that that is your focus, I recognize and know from personal experience that depression, anxiety, PTSD, trauma. I used to have panic attacks, by the way. I used to have to breathe into a bag. Yeah, I know what it feels like to have an elephant sitting on your chest and not be able to breathe, and just these teeny tiny sips of air and really freaking the heck out. I know what that feels like. I believe that all of this is exasperated when we ignore the authenticness of who we are. When we pretend to be somebody that we're not, and we do this whole fake it till we make it thing, that just makes things that much worse. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute. And I believe that being it until you see it is a whole different story than faking it till you make it. And I'm going to show you how right now. Number one, be it till you see it is showing up with all your stuff. You have stuff. Anyone here? Pinkies up if you got some stuff. Anyone? Anyone got some stuff? Anyone suffer from something from their past? Been in an abusive relationship? Been scarred by something that happened in your past? Anyone? I know for me, I can do that. But I'm going to tell you, this is the deal. This is the deal. Faking it is pretending that your stuff doesn't exist. Do you hear me? Faking it is pretending like your stuff doesn't exist. But if you be it till you see it, it's showing up and it's bringing your stuff with you, because there you are. There you are in all of your naked, vulnerable glory, pain and all, the suffering, the this, the that. I'm not saying you have to roll around in it and live it and wear it proudly like a badge of honor. I'm just saying that's part of who you are too, right? Be it till you see it, number two, comes with a wide swath of feelings, doesn't it? There's a lot of feelings there. You're scared, you're uneasy, you're nervous, you maybe even have anxiety. But guess what? Instead of ignoring those feelings like they don't exist, you go ahead and you do it anyway, right? You go ahead and you do it anyway. You don't ignore the feelings. The feelings are important because the feelings are telling you something about what is. The minute we start to ignore those feelings and start stuffing them down is when we start to become the inauthenticness of this fakery. And I don't know about you, but I've certainly had enough of that. Influencer, with all the filters and what have you on Instagram and all of that. This is part of the whole thing. This is why teenage girls have just a huge burden that they're carrying. I can't look like, one of those Kardashian girls with all the fake stuff and filters and makeup artists and plastic surgery and photoshopping. Nobody looks like that. Nobody, and then I watch the transformational makeup things, and they've got men and women doing them now, and they're just like ridiculous. They don't look like themselves when they're done. They don't. They look like a version of a Barbie doll or a Cupid doll, but not themselves. It's almost cartoonish. Why have we decided that that's okay? Why have we decided that fake and all the fakeness is way better than the realness. Now, we all put on not all of us, but we put on a little bit of makeup, we do our hair, we dress nicely to flatter ourselves, flatter our shapes or whatever we do. But the fakery of showing up and pretending that none of this has happened and here is this photoshopped version of myself is just a little bit more than most of us can bear. And this is one of the reasons why I believe with all of my heart that this fake it till you make it thing has become such a thing. Yeah, fake it till you make it. Fake it. Go get a filter and fake it. Go get a filter and do all of this. Don't talk about how you feel or whatever and just pretend it doesn't exist. But I've got a biggie for you. Are you ready for this? This is number 3. Your fake persona, who you are showing up fakely, is better than the real self with all of your stuff. That's what you're believing when you do it. You got me on that one? In other words, the conditioning of this culture sincerely is that the fake you is way better than the real you. And isn't that so sad? That just breaks this mother's heart. Because I want to say to all these young girls, especially young women, that the real beautiful you with your realness is so much better than looking like all those other robots. It's so much better. And pretending like everything is great and doing these ridiculous poses. I mean, to the point where these influencers are, trying to model in a fur bikini off a cliff and falling and dying. It's crazy town. But your fake persona, who you are showing up falsely, is not better than who the real you is. The real you is the beautiful you, the authentic person. I'm going to say this, that I believe that doing all of this faking it till you make it garbage is classic repression. Classic. Repressing who you really are and also going for this whole perfectionism illusion. And what is perfectionism if it is an illusion, right? Because there is no such thing as perfect this side of glory. We know that. We know that. We're never going to see it here. And yet we will persist in this pursuit of it to everyone's hurt, especially your own heart. And I just want to say that, we get emotionally entangled with all of our stuff and we figure that's what's wrong with us. But I want to also say to you this, and this is so important, please hear me. You are enough with all of your stuff. You are enough just as you are. Your enoughness is why you're here on the planet with all of your pain, with all of your glory. We all have things that we're so proud of that we want to show, and we all have things that we'd rather not have people not know about. A year ago, I would have never told you about my panic attacks, I don't think. I don't think I would have. And now I'm telling you all about it. Some of the vulnerable stuff, some of the garbage that I've been through, it's personal. It's ugly. And I shared with you like this summer about the crazy guy down on the lake who was so mean to me and my toxic thoughts of, I'll get even. But guess what? That was true. And me showing you the side of me, the part of me that is not completely ready for prime time, is what the truth is all about. The truth will set you free. And who you are, authentically who you are, showing up with your stuff is how you get even freer from the stuff, right? You put light on darkness, it's not so scary anymore. When you allow and open up and bring it out and even trot out your stuff, that's when you have freedom to be the free and authentic you, the you you're meant to be. So there's lessons there. There's lessons of who we are, and there's lessons of who we could be if we just let it go, I love what Terry said. Being authentic is true beauty. She's absolutely 100% true, right on that. It is true beauty because it is an acknowledgement of the soul of who you are with all the scars. And that is to say, you know what? I am enough just as I am. You remember that? For those of you who were full bloom for I am enough, it was a big deal. And for those of you who were at the next full bloom, where we understood about getting off the fear fence, remember that? All of these things add up because fear is part of our life story. Everyone has fear of some sort, whether they want to acknowledge it or not. We all do. Nobody has managed to get through this life without it. We've all got some fear, whether it's alligators under your bed as a little kid like I had, right? Or somebody breaking into your house, or something that's been brought on by some childhood thing or whatever. But I'm going to just say this. It's part of who we are too. And I believe that when we acknowledge all the parts, then we can become all the parts, all the authenticness of who we're supposed to be, right? Danelle said, you can't treasure the light without the dark. And she's absolutely 100% right. You can't. It's just the same way that you can't treasure a sunny day if that's all you ever have. I remember when we moved from Southern California to North Carolina and all of the stuff, right? All of the things that we had going on here, all the weather, the crazy weather in North Carolina compared to California, it made me look back wistfully at the California's perfect weather. It did. But when I was there, I just took it in stride because that's what was expected. Perfect weather all the time, .com, pretty much. Nancy said she's heading toward that courage castle. Amen. Amen. And that's the key, Always we can head toward the courage castle. We just need to put fear in its place. It doesn't need to haunt us. It doesn't need to take over, but it does need to be acknowledged. And I think that's the difference between living your authentic self and being enough versus putting on this big fake show and pushing it all down and pretending that it doesn't exist. Because I'm going to tell you right now, there's not a soul on this planet that hasn't been scathed in some fashion. We all have. We all have hurt. And we all have some kind of stuff that maybe we're not even proud of, Nobody's proud of that, or ashamed of even, or guilt-ridden about, or whatever. But the point is that it brings us to full circle of who we are, and that is authentically who we are. The woman with the scars. And that is enough. Number 4 is confidence comes post-action, never before. How can you have confidence about something you've never done, right? How do you do it? Confidence is something you get after it's been done. Because I know a lot of people oftentimes are waiting for the confidence to be able to do the thing. It's not confidence you need, it's courage. The confidence will come later. The confidence comes after the doing and gives you a high five at a girl. By the way, Mel Robbins has a new book out, and she's talking about giving yourself a high five in the mirror in the mornings. I about dropped my teeth when I heard that, because I was like, wait a minute. Because we got that from Tiny Habits, I believe, a couple of years ago. We've been talking about this for a long time. But this is a thing, this is a thing, is making sure that the confidence is done, is coming alongside of us after we've done the thing. And I want you to really internalize this, because this is going to give you, okay, these are the steps. Because isn't it easier with steps? It is for me. What do I have to do? Just tell me what I have to do. Okay, I've got to do this, this, and this. Okay, so this is what it is. What do you have to do? You have to do this, this, and this. And then you get that, the confidence. Then you get also the motivation. What? Because motivation is motivated by momentum. That's what keeps it going. That's the fuel. That's the thing. And all of this helps to build in more of our true authentic self. Big deal. So I want you to remember that confidence comes by doing, and faking confidence is the greatest charade of all time. It is, because nobody's fooled, least of all you. You know, um, I will say that it's this, and this is the one time that I will quote Nike ads: "Just do it." The just do it thing. You know what? That's a thing. That's a thing. That's a challenge. That's a choose off. Boom, to your amygdala saying, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just do it. And you know you get the reward immediately after. That's a hit of dopamine. That's your confidence. Number 5 is be true to the real you. Fake is fake, and it's never going to help you to become the best self that you can be, ever, ever. Number 2, part of number 5, or A and B, is being requires doing, and doing will help you find your authentic fit. We talk about this all the time, and I had another coaching client that I was talking to yesterday, and we adjusted something she didn't like. You know, she's like, true confession, I don't like the Target trifecta smoothie. You know what? Cool. Guess what? Let's fix it. So we went in and we made a custom fit for her so that she will still keep doing the smoothies, so that she will still keep doing the results. If something doesn't work for you, we go in and we fix it, we adjust it, we customize it. We have the great grace, the great ability, and the great luxury of being able to do this when we understand that this is what it's about. We get to customize our life to fit the lives that we want to live. I'm not in your house 24/7. I can't do this for you. But what I can say is you have the ability to change this up and to make it your own. Amen. Number 6 is authenticity brings great and deep joy. Because this is the thing. When you bother to be who you are supposed to be, when you show up in your full, untarnished, dripping with all kinds of issues and whatever self, but also with all of your strengths and glories as well, then you get to be the authentic you. You get to be the one customized person, this one human being, this one called individual into this life the way God intended, because he chose you. He did. He said, I want her here at this time for this reason, on purpose and for purpose. Got to have her. Got to have her here on the planet right now. This is important. This is critical. It's so critical. I'm going to make sure she shows up in this area. Why weren't you born in 1750? Why weren't you born a man? Why? Well, I am here to tell you that I believe that we are called on purpose and for purpose at such a time as this, because this is God's reasoning. This is his why. And this therefore can become your why. What about that? That's a heavy thing to say. But if you think about that, if you meditate on that, if you dwell on that, the enormity of it all, and the great privilege and the enormous love shared to you by him is going to blow your mind. It's going to make your whole life look different. You will see it in the very privileged way you should see it. And it's going to make you look for your purpose, like you're looking for a hidden gem, a treasure. Christine D'Arcole, one of my favorite Peloton instructors, says, I am, I can, I will, I do. She says it all the time when you're going through something tough when you're writing. I am, I can, I will, I do. And I will tell you, no one can show up and say, I am, I will, I can, I do, except you for your life. Your life is uniquely your own, and you're here on purpose and for purpose. You're called. There's a calling on your life to live authentically, to live truly who you are. You've been chosen for this. Pinky up. Peace be with you. Thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.